Hi everybody, Jo here again. Thanks so much for popping in. Always lovely to spend time with you. Now today I've got a lovely fun design to share with you, and this is one of the samples I created for our challenge. So if you pop over onto our Lavinia website, you'll see we have a challenge every month, and you know what, the winner is chosen at random, so we all stand a chance and you can win £40 to spend at Lavinia. How fabulous would that be? Imagine what you could buy. Anyway, the theme this month is falling leaves, and I couldn't help but include our cheeky mice, and I just had this thought of the mice almost falling with the leaves. Now, I did have another play, and this is the design we're going to do, look, and live in the moment. I thought that just summed them up perfectly. But I have had another play that I've just got to show you on a smaller piece of card. So for those of you that love smaller designs, and I've popped it in my little journal. And thank you for those lovely ladies and gentlemen who commented and said it was nice to see some journal work for a change. So this is in my rough journal. And I've created a similar design, but this one I've just got one cheeky mouse, look. Sorry, excuse me. And I had this idea that the leaf was actually part of a parachute, and he's made himself a parachute. And I couldn't help but include one of our new pumpkins as well. And I have to say, the stencil I used, I had great fun. And it was this one here, and it's the feather leaf stencil. And I just thought each of these shapes here, look, each of the almost feather leaves reminded me of our lovely stamp, the oak leaf flourish. So I just picked a few and had them almost floating down. And I love to do this. I think we have got such a lovely combination of stencils that work so well with stamps. So if you fancy creating along and doing a design for your journal, there's an idea for you. But if you want to make a smaller card design, again, you could even just use this part. It's all about just bringing lots of different bits of inspiration for you. And they're all sort of along a similar sort of theme. And, you know, we just come along with one piece of inspiration, and hopefully it'll send you on a journey to create something either the same or with a bit of a twist. Now, the card I'm going to use, as you know, I love this multi-pack, and this one's the A5, but the smaller one in my journal was one of the little A6 pieces. Very useful, this, I have to say. And we're going to start with some stamping. So, you know me, copy your paper. I know we've got a few lovely new followers to our channel that are just starting on the Lavinia crafting journey. And for me, I'm not a confident stamper, so I just find if I put some copy paper underneath, it helps me, but that's just me. Now, I'm going to start by stamping myself some of the lovely cheeky mice. And I'm going to be stamping in permanent ink, my Versafine Clair. And I'm going to use a couple of colours, the Pinecone for the mice, and also just to edge some leaves, and then the Shady Lane. But those of you that know me know it's a shady lady. Now, we need some lovely, lovely mice. And the thing is, it's whether we stamp the leaves or the mice first. Well, chicken and egg. I'm going for the mice. I might even just alter this up a bit and actually have the parachuting one. I did like that idea, so I think I may just put a bit more ink on there. A parachuting mouse, I think. I don't know about you, but do you know what? I'm rubbish at doing the same design twice, even if I have it in front of me to copy. I like to just alter them up a bit. So just giving that a wipe. And I'm using a selection of our cheeky mice. Now, this one's lovely. I think this is Tango. He's great for hanging from things. So, I'm thinking we'll have a bit of Tango hanging down here. We'll sort of stagger them a little. And then give that a bit of a wipe. And then I'm thinking the one that sort of stood, I think this might be Minnie. I've got to be honest, I just call them all cheeky mice. I find it easier. And I'm going to put her I'm thinking almost near the bottom here. And because she's a silhouette, I'm just letting that ink soak in, trying not to be too quick. And then at the bottom, we've got our lovely one with the lamp, Basil. And I have to be very good there and not go Basil. And those of you to a certain age will know exactly where that comes from. And he's got the lamp, so you can see where they're going to land when they're parachuting in on these falling leaves. Now, if you're not a fan of the cheeky mice, you could still do this design, but just have your leaves. Oh, look, where did that come from? Did any of you see? Don't worry, we'll get rid of that. It happens. See, even though I'm being clean, it happens. So yes, so as I say, if you're not a fan of the mice, don't worry. I'm just going to give my hand a bit of a wipe in case I've got some ink on my hand. Now, the oak leaf flourish has got this beautiful stamp, and this is the one we're going to use. And what we're going to do for this is ink up first in green, beautiful stamp. And then just with the brown, I'm just going to catch a little bit of the edges. And I just think it gives a lovely almost two-tone. Now the first one we're going to pop here. And again, my head might just come over so she's got her feet. There we go. Happy with that. So we need another one. And as I say, if you want to stamp your leaves first, if you're more confident doing that, it's really a bit of the chicken and egg. It's whichever you fancy. Now this one, I've got my parachute I want to make here. So we can pop that one there. And as I say, look, if I bring it closer, you see this two-tone with the green and the brown. And I put the green on first because obviously it's always better to go with the lighter colour. And I'm just catching the edges with the brown. And then just need this one here. So he's just holding on there. It's all about placing. And then we want some on the ground. And for these, I think we'll have a few just green, look, and we'll alter the angle. We'll go first and second generation. And then we'll have one green with a little bit of the brown on. And again, we're just going to have a play. I don't want that the same. And it's just about getting things, we want a nice mixture here, look. And what I'm actually going to do is a lovely little stamp on this set with a little acorn on. So it's a couple of leaves, look. So I think in brown, what I'm going to do is, now look, if we put that there, oh look, oh that mark's disappeared, Joe. How did you do that? We'll just have a couple of these, 3 I think. And also it brings almost the brown tones into the base, just gives us a nice bit of continuity. Second generation there. And we'll just add some leaves at the top as well. Now you could bring in other, if you've got other florals, I just want to bring in these leaves because obviously it's falling leaves. Now again, I'm sort of doing greens and browns. If you wanted to bring in the oranges, your more sort of autumnal colours. But also I'm aware that some of you are actually going into spring. So if you wanted to bring in your spring colours, this would look just as beautifully with spring colours. I'll have a couple of these just. And then let's have an odd leaf on its own, just falling without the cheeky mice. So I'm thinking, I don't want to over busy this, I don't want to have too much. Maybe just have one in the middle there with the fir cone, I'm thinking, acorn I mean there. See, I could put one there, but I think it'll be too busy. I'm quite, oh, actually just at the top. I do this. Do you do it? you say, I'm not gonna, and then I'm going to just one as though it's just falling there. Yeah, right, happy with that. So I'm going to give that a blot, because remember, Versafine Clair, slower drying ink. So we'll just give that a nice blot, and we'll put those away. And then we're just going to add some nice detail to this. So we just want to make a little bit of grounding at the base. And again, this is just the way my sort of head works. So I'm coming in with my landscape mask and the elements this time, the olive. And somewhere I've got a lovely stencil brush with green on. Now we want basil just to sort of be there, don't we? Let me just... Yep, that'll ground him nicely. Again, just pop some off in the lid. And then I'm going to start under basil because I've got the most ink on, and if it's a dark colour, that's fine because it saves adding shadow to him. It just makes him look like he's got shadow anyway. So I'll add a little bit more. If I want to have a look, yeah, happy with that. And we'll just add a little bit of a hill. We don't want much of one. I don't want to sort of do that and cut his neck off. You just have to be mindful of these things. So we'll just add a gentle little sort of, and then maybe just a little, but nothing much. Just to build up that little bit of the landscape. And then we'll give that a wipe. And I think we'll come in with one of our ones that's got a bit more of a hill. So we'll pop it round, and I'm not adding any more ink. I'm going to put the lid on, look. But I'm just going to use what's on my brush. And because it's not as much ink, it's going to be pale, it'll be in the distance. And I think we'll just go one, just a mere suggestion of a little bit of a hill there, and one there. You see, just a mere, they don't have to meet up, it's that, just that mere suggestion. I'll give that a wipe. And then on my original, I added some colour around the edge. And for this, I'm actually coming in with my oxides, just because I find these two colours work really well together. So I'm going to bring in my vintage photo and my ground espresso. And for this one, I'm going to use one of my blending tools. Now, I know a few of you ask, and for me, the difference is when I want a nice light, such as for the hills, I use my lovely brushes, and through a stencil I tend to use my brushes. But just for this, I want quite a bit of colour round the edge with the brown. So for me, I can just get more colour on almost quicker with my little blenders. But it's really, if you find your brushes work best for this, really you just use what you find works best. So I'm just going to work my way round, re-inking on the corner and going back down. And then when I've got less ink on, look, giving it a nice blend. Again, turn it round, inking in the corner, and then go back across the top. And then when there's less ink, just blending it in, look. And if you do that, you'll find you get that lovely blend. Now I want some ink here, but I don't want to come straight in because I've just added the ink. So even though I've already done the corner, I go into the corner and then blend down the side. And then I've got less ink on, so I'm just going to bring that in a little bit further. And I've got some little bits coming from my blending tool. That's fine. Try not to brush them away because I don't want to get ink on my hand. So I've got to be honest, I do find just a quick bit of or a nice soft brush. Now I love that, but I want it a bit deeper. What do you think? Now you might be happy, you might want to leave it there, but I'm going to come in with a deeper colour look and just to add a bit more oomph in the corners. And then just a little bit along the bottom. And then up the side. Again on the corner, down the side. Turn it round, I keep turning it round. along the top, a little bit down the side. And I just think that extra dark around the edge just adds that extra oomph for me. And I'm going to come in now with my fan brush, and we're going to add some nice faux bleaching over that lovely blended ink. And again, I'm just going to turn it round. Now, if you're not keen on your blending, this is a great way. Once you add the water splats and it does the faux bleaching, that's quite a big one. I'm just going to dry that one because I think that was quite a nifty one. And as I say, if you're not keen on your blending, this will just make it look fabulous. Obviously, that's not why I'm doing it. Now, we're just going to put that over there. And we'll give this a wipe. We've already had our one little brown mark on there today, haven't we? We don't want another. Try and keep it as clean as we can. And bring this back. And as you can see, the areas where we've got that lovely. Now, I'm going to give mine a bit of a pat because I'm happy with that. Then I'm just going to whiz my heat tool over it. Just to speed it up a little. Obviously at home, I'd just let it dry naturally. But just for the purposes of this, just so you can see it done in real time. And again, whenever you're heating from the front, just heat from the back. And it just helps keep the card nice and flat. I'm just going to have a little sip of my water. Sorry, you know what this throat's like. There we go. And that, for me, I just love that background. Now, I've got my brown fine liner here. I'm just going to lean on a piece of kitchen roll and let's make ourselves this little parachute. So I'm thinking we've got there, round there and back there. Maybe some little ties. And then maybe on this side we can go up round that bit, back down there, little ties. So again, you can either put ties, you can put it round, and I just think it looks lovely. And then we're just going to have some little dots of movement, and I just want to add some little, as though, almost to give the idea that we're floating down. Those little dots. Now again, you might not want to include those. I just think it adds with the whole flow, so it's obvious that the leaves are falling. And then I just want to add a little bit of colour where we've got our lovely light. So I'm thinking if I bring in my lovely pastel pencils, and I've got a yellow here, so if we just add a little bit of yellow, and then if we just, I want to almost smudge a circle around the light. Now what I've found for me, if I go in with the yellow and then I almost add the white on top, it almost helps smudge it. And then just come in with my finger. Or again, remember, if you want to use a cotton bud, just use a biodegradable one, and that just softens the edge as well. So what I'm thinking is we've got the light there, but also we just catch a bit of a shine from that light on his tummy, look, and his little feet. And again, a quick smudge. I don't need to put a spray fixative on this because obviously it's just catching little areas. If I was using my pan pastel over a large area, I would. But for this, it's fine. There's no need. We'll just add a little bit of yellow there. Again, just to give that idea that we've got this lovely light shining. And it just catches. Now again, I'm just going to add a little bit of my white. Again, just to give that idea that we're floating down. I have to say the pan pastels are so useful, and it's just often these little finishing touches at the end that make all the difference. And then what I'm thinking is our lovely Wink of Stella. I'm just going to again add that for this bit of movement and a little bit round the light, look. So we've got that lovely glow. And there we've got our lovely, lovely falling mice. Now, if you want to add your white highlights, again, so you can either use your white Posca pen look to add some white highlights, or you can come in with your pastel pencil and again just add some little white highlights. And you can add as little or as many as you want. Maybe a little bit on here, on his tummy look. Oh, give him a bit of shape there. Gives that a bit of a, yeah. I don't want to overcook it because I just like it the way it is. And so that's my falling leaves falling down with my cheeky mice. And as I say, you could take one part of this, you could take the whole part of this, and look, when you add it to a card, and what's nice is just to add a little bit of pops, a little bit of the acorn and the leaves at the bottom as well, just to tie the whole design together. So we have the two together there. As I say, maybe spring colours, maybe a little bit more of your autumnal colours. I mean, I know you're just going to take it and flow with it. And there we go, add in. Do you think he's going to land on top of the cheeky pumpkin? That would be interesting, wouldn't it? So hopefully there's lots of ideas there for you. And I'm hoping you're going to have fun. And it would be lovely if you would enter the challenge. So it's falling leaves. We've got lots of leaves. We've got stamps, stencils. I can't wait to see. I love looking through the gallery. And you're providing inspiration for each other and helping each other as well. So I'm going to go now and have a look and see what you've all been up to. See you again soon. Love and hugs from me. Bye for now.